I'd like to introduce you to a visual tool called the cycle of productivity. This is quite a useful reminder, visual reminder of the different stages of any project or any undertaking. And it can help you sometimes if you're feeling stuck, because it will remind you of how you need to move through the cycle to get anything from start to completion. So what is the cycle of productivity? Well, it comes in 4 stages. The first is where you create, decide, start the particular project. This is where creative people can sometimes get stopped because they come up with so many ideas. They're always living in this area, new ideas. Which one do you actually start? But in order to make any of your wonderful ideas happen, you have to move on into the doing and the acting. This is the sector where you spend most time. This is where you're actually doing the work. And then we come to the third sector, which is the completing and the finishing. You always hear people saying, oh yes, I'm a great completer finisher. I always finish my projects. But this is somewhere where a lot of people can find it challenging, because there's something about completing a project sometimes that it's like letting go of it, and they don't want to. It's like that kind of thing when you're reading a really, really good book and you kind of want to know how it ends, but you don't want to know how it ends because you don't want to reach that final page. And sometimes for creative people, they can get really stuck in this area. But again, you have to complete things in order to be able to start the next thing. The problem is sometimes, often, we go straight from completing and finishing, straight back into the starting the next thing. It's understandable. You can have that rush of energy. You can feel that there is a void that's been left by finishing one project, and you just want to get on to one of these other wonderful ideas that you've had. But it's missing out a very important part of the cycle, which is the acknowledging, the praising, and the celebration. This is the part where you go, yes, that worked. I did it. I learned so much. This is where I developed these skills. This is where I built new relationships. This is where I, learned how to use Zoom or whatever it is. Even if something hasn't worked out the way you wanted to, there's still a lot that you can learn. And even if the only thing you're acknowledging is, oh, thank God that's over, which, let's face it, we've all had projects like that, it's still very important. Something that a lot of people, particularly creators, talk about is this whole thing of imposter syndrome. And often that comes from the fact that we don't take the time to acknowledge and praise what we have done. We're always looking to the next thing, and we're forgetting how much we grow each time we do a new project. So whilst all the areas of the cycle are incredibly important, each sector needs to happen before the next one can happen. Personally, I think the most important part that you can concentrate on is sector 4, the acknowledging, the praising, and the celebration, because we don't do it enough. And that's the thing that will help you to move forward, to do bigger, brighter, more exciting things without feeling quite so frightened about stepping out of your comfort zone, because you're not just stepping into something new, you're stepping into something new, but with all the experience that you've just picked up from your last project. So I will just leave that there for you to think about.